Wow. New Zealand's economy could be bigger, more diverse, vibrant, and more profitable. If we were at school, New Zealand's report card might say, could do better, great potential but lacks the willpower, not firing on all 6 cylinders. It's kind of weird, that's what my report cards used to say. Here's the thing, until 8 years ago, there really wasn't a huge amount we could do about that. We could hop on planes and leave to do similar jobs in Australia, the UK, or beyond for an immediate pay rise for doing the same work, but that didn't and doesn't change the outlook of the country. We had to rely on our governments, we had to in the old days, to make hard choices to streamline the economic structure, but using our personal initiative to change the outlook of our whole country, that was so hard as to be almost impossible. I've done well over the last few years to develop an international distribution and media network that's put my products in the hands of tens of thousands of photographers around the world, and the photography team here today, which is quite cool. But I run a small company. It's basically 2 niche products. That's going to change later on this year, but although I've done well to build what I have on my own, I'm not going to change the country. But if there were a few more like me, we definitely could. That's why this is so important. Let's look ahead 5 years. Imagine we're a country where 3,000 small companies aggressively sell their products globally. That adds at least, and probably considerably more than $1 billion to the economy every year, with a big multiplier effect on the back of that. Although that seems like a pipe dream, I actually think that's a spectacularly understated ambition. I think we should aim a lot higher than that. We deserve a lot higher than that. So how do we do it? We know what success looks like for countries analogous to ours, like Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Singapore, to name a few. We know how they achieved success. We like to think of ourselves as unique, and a lot of things make New Zealand unique. But are we so unique that we can't learn from the others? That we have to do everything from scratch? That we have to forge our own way in everything that we do? Isn't that a little arrogant? We're not an arrogant country, are we? It's always felt like common sense to me that to achieve one's dreams, you put yourself in a room with people who've already done what you want to do, ask them how they did it and what they'd advise, and then you do what they suggest. Basic common sense, right? But common sense is not common. Coachability is rare. I've lost count of the number of times I've heard a budding entrepreneur with a sliver of an idea mock the advice of a wise mentor with decades of coalface experience. Coachability is an acronym for behavior change, and behavior change is not easy. Coachability is the key that unlocked my potential, and it's the key that can unlock New Zealand's potential. We need to change our behavior. So how do we achieve this success that we watch others enjoying? How can we become a coachable country? How can we be something we've never been before? I decided to ask some psychologists and sociologists here at the university about it. The sociologists didn't answer any of my calls or invitations to a free coffee. Not very sociable at all. The psychologists jumped at the chance. I like to think that they salivated when their phones rang, but I'm probably imagining it. So what did I learn? What did I learn? When you alter the rate of change in an environment, the ability to rapidly shift our thinking speeds up. You give pigeons 2 buttons to press, one of which rewards them with food, the other with nothing. And if you switch the reward from one to the other every now and then, they're very slow at altering their behavior. But if you change the rewards from one button to another frequently, the pigeons become very adept at pushing the other button when the first doesn't give them a reward. And you'd be surprised to know that our brains work in a very similar way. It's true. What else did I learn from the lab rats and mice and pigeons? It's interesting. Our behavior is not exclusively dependent on the past. As previously thought, it's increasingly recognized it's dependent on the future. Should we do this? Where will that leave us? Not, should we do this? What happened last time? What happened before doesn't apply. There's nothing stopping New Zealand becoming the buzzword in the international economy and reaping all the benefits that that will bring. With our small size and relatively strong infrastructure, we're the little guy with the potential for fast mover advantage. But like all little guys, if we don't jump on this, we're going to get trampled in the stampede. So how can we change our behavior? What's the action plan I'd like to leave you with today? 1, forget everything that's gone before. We need to forget that we're geographically isolated. It doesn't matter now. We need to refocus from sectors that until now have dominated our GDP. They are great, don't get me wrong, but we will need to reframe our skills to outperform going forward. We need to forget that for the many peoples who have settled here over the centuries, individual excellence is no longer, collective behavior at the expense of individual excellence is no longer the best economic evolutionary choice. We need to forget, we need to forget that small means uncompetitive. That does not apply anymore. We need to, number 2, champion our winners and our successful losers, our positive deviants, those whose uncommon but successful behaviors set them apart. We need to spread the word that with the right processes and through learning, coachability, this behavior of success can be learnt. We're sitting in a planet-sized classroom, and it's time that we put our hands up and started shouting the right answers and took our place at the front of the class. Thank you.